100 cozy facts about the universe to fall asleep to. Intro. Hello and welcome. Tonight, let's take a quiet journey through the universe together. There's no rush and nowhere you need to be. Just settle into your pillow, let your breathing slow, and close your eyes whenever you're ready. One by one, we'll drift through 100 gentle facts about the cosmos, from the soft glow of our moon to the farthest reaches of space. Let each one carry you a little deeper into rest. The universe is vast and wonderful, and tonight, it's here to help you sleep. So take a deep breath, let it out slowly, and let's begin. 1. The moon is drifting slowly away from us. Each year, it moves about 3.8 centimeters farther from Earth, roughly the same speed your fingernails grow. It has been doing this for billions of years, and it will continue long after we are gone. But there is no need to worry. The moon will be our faithful companion in the night sky for ages and ages to come. It is not going anywhere in a hurry. 2. When you look up at a full moon, the light reaching your eyes left its surface just 1.3 seconds ago. That soft, silvery glow traveled nearly 385,000 kilometers through the quiet of space just to find you. In a way, every beam of moonlight on your face is a gentle hello from our closest celestial neighbor. Isn't that a lovely thought to carry into sleep? 3. The moon has no atmosphere, which means there is no wind, no weather, and no sound on its surface. The footprints left by the Apollo astronauts in the 1960s and 70s are still there, perfectly preserved in the fine lunar dust. Without wind or rain to disturb them, they could remain for millions of years, quiet little monuments on a perfectly silent world. 4. We only ever see one side of the moon from Earth. This happens because the moon rotates on its axis at exactly the same rate it orbits around us, a graceful synchrony called tidal locking. The far side, sometimes called the dark side, actually receives just as much sunlight as the side we see. It simply faces away from us, keeping its landscape a gentle secret. 5. The moon's gravity is what gives us our ocean tides. As it orbits overhead, it gently tugs on Earth's water, creating the rhythmic rise and fall of the seas. So the next time you hear waves lapping softly against a shore, or imagine the gentle pull of the tide, remember that the moon is quietly conducting that soothing rhythm from thousands of kilometers above. 6. During a total solar eclipse, the moon fits almost perfectly over the sun. This is a beautiful cosmic coincidence. The sun is about 400 times wider than the moon, but it also happens to be roughly 400 times farther away from us. The result is that they appear almost exactly the same size in our sky. No other known planet in our solar system has a moon that creates such a perfect eclipse. Isn't that remarkable? 7. The surface of the moon is covered in a fine, powdery dust called regolith. Billions of years of tiny meteorite impacts have ground the rock into a soft, ashy blanket that covers everything. Apollo astronauts described it as smelling faintly like spent gunpowder when they brought samples inside their spacecraft. A whole world with its own quiet, unexpected scent drifting through the cabin. 8. There is water ice hiding in the permanently shadowed craters near the moon's poles. These deep, cold hollows have not seen a single ray of sunlight in billions of years, and temperatures there drop to about minus 248 degrees Celsius. Tucked away in the ancient darkness, little crystals of ice wait patiently, undisturbed, like treasures locked in a frozen vault. 9. The moon is slowly stabilizing Earth's wobble. Without our moon, our planet's axial tilt would shift wildly over millions of years, causing extreme swings in climate and seasons. So in a way, the moon has been quietly looking after us for billions of years, keeping our seasons gentle, our climate relatively stable, and our world comfortable enough for life to flourish. 10. Moonlight is simply sunlight that has bounced off the lunar surface. The moon produces no light of its own. It is a mirror, reflecting the sun's glow back down to us at night. And yet that borrowed light is enough to cast soft shadows on a forest floor, illuminate a quiet garden path, and make the whole night feel a little less dark. What a generous and faithful mirror it is. 11. Now let's turn our gaze toward the sun, that warm and familiar star that makes everything on Earth possible. The light you feel on your skin on a sunny afternoon actually left the sun about 8 minutes and 20 seconds earlier. It traveled nearly 150 million kilometers at the speed of light, all the way across the void, just to reach you. Every sunbeam is a tiny journey completed. 12. The sun is so large that about 1.3 million Earths could fit inside it. And yet, compared to some of the truly giant stars out in the galaxy, our sun is considered rather modest, a calm, middle-aged yellow dwarf star. It is perfectly sized to warm our little world without overwhelming it. Not too hot, not too cold. Just right for us. 13. Deep inside the sun's core, the temperature reaches about 15 million degrees Celsius. There, hydrogen atoms are squeezed together so tightly by the immense pressure that they fuse into helium, releasing extraordinary amounts of energy in the process. This is nuclear fusion, the quiet, steady engine that has powered our star for the last 4.5 billion years without interruption. 14. The sun sings in its own way. Its surface vibrates with waves of pressure that ripple across it like a great bell being softly struck over and over. Scientists have recorded these oscillations and shifted them into frequencies we can hear. The result is a deep, resonant humming drone, the quiet, ancient voice of our star, vibrating through the fabric of space. 15. Every single second, the sun converts roughly 4 million tons of its own mass into pure energy through nuclear fusion. That sounds enormously dramatic, but the sun is so vast and so heavy that it has been doing this for billions of years and barely notices. It has enough hydrogen fuel remaining to keep shining steadily for another 5 billion years or so. We are living comfortably in the warm, quiet middle of its long life. 16. The sun's outer atmosphere, called the corona, is mysteriously much hotter than its visible surface. The surface sits at about 5,500 degrees Celsius, which is already unimaginably hot. But the corona, that wispy halo of plasma that extends millions of kilometers into space, can reach temperatures of over 1 million degrees. Scientists are still working to fully understand why. Even our own familiar star keeps a few warm mysteries to itself. 17. Sunlight doesn't arrive only as visible light. It also brings infrared warmth, ultraviolet rays, and a whole spectrum of energy we cannot see with our eyes. That comforting warmth you feel when sunlight streams through a window on a cold winter morning, that is mostly the infrared portion, a gentle, invisible embrace wrapping around you from 93 million miles away. 18. Our sun is not standing still. It is orbiting the center of the Milky Way galaxy at tremendous speed, carrying all of its planets along for the ride. It takes about 225 to 250 million years to complete just one full orbit. The dinosaurs roamed the Earth less than 1 galactic year ago. We are all passengers on a very long, very slow, and very beautiful cosmic road trip together. 19. Occasionally, the sun releases enormous bursts of energy called solar flares and coronal mass ejections. These eruptions send streams of charged particles racing through space at millions of kilometers per hour. When those particles reach Earth and interact with our planet's magnetic field, they can paint the skies near the poles with shimmering curtains of color, the aurora borealis and aurora australis. A storm on the sun becomes a light show on Earth. How wonderful is that? 20. The sun will not last forever, but its ending will be gentle and beautiful in its own way. In about 5 billion years, it will slowly expand into a red giant star, growing large enough to engulf Mercury and Venus. Then it will shed its outer layers into a glowing, colorful cloud called a planetary nebula. At its center, a small, dense white dwarf will remain, a quiet, fading ember glowing softly in the dark for trillions of years. 21. Let's wander a little farther now, out among the stars that fill the night sky. The closest star to our Sun is called Proxima Centauri, and it lies about 4.24 light-years away. That means even traveling at the speed of light, the fastest speed possible in the universe, it would take you over 4 years to reach it. The spaces between stars are wonderfully, peacefully, almost unimaginably vast. 22. Many of the stars you see twinkling in the night sky are not alone. A large number of them exist in pairs or small groups, orbiting one another in a slow, graceful cosmic dance. These are called binary or multiple star systems. Imagine two stars circling each other through the ages, keeping each other company across the long, quiet reaches of space. Even stars, it seems, prefer not to be alone. 23. Stars come in a beautiful range of colors depending on their surface temperature. The hottest stars burn a brilliant blue-white, while the coolest stars glow a deep, warm red. Our Sun, with its surface temperature of about 5,500 degrees Celsius, shines with a gentle yellow-white light right in the comfortable, soothing middle of the spectrum. A star of modest and perfect warmth. 24. When you gaze up at the constellation Orion on a clear winter evening, the bright reddish star on his shoulder is Betelgeuse. It is a red supergiant, roughly 700 times the diameter of our Sun. If you placed Betelgeuse at the center of our solar system, its surface would extend well past the orbit of Mars. A truly enormous, ancient, and quietly magnificent giant hanging in the winter sky. 25. The twinkling of stars is not something the stars themselves do. It is caused by Earth's atmosphere. Pockets of air at different temperatures and densities bend and scatter the starlight as it travels down to your eyes. So when you see a star twinkling and shimmering, you are really watching the Earth's own atmosphere dancing and shifting above you. A little performance just for you. 26. Neutron stars are the incredibly dense remnants of massive stars that have ended their lives in spectacular supernova explosions. They pack more mass than our entire Sun into a sphere only about 20 kilometers across. A single teaspoon of neutron star material would weigh roughly 6 billion tons here on Earth. Imagine something so impossibly heavy, compressed into something so unimaginably small. The universe is full of quiet extremes like this. 27. Some neutron stars spin at truly astonishing speeds. These rapidly rotating ones are called pulsars, and they can complete hundreds of rotations every single second, sweeping beams of electromagnetic radiation across space like a cosmic lighthouse. Across the vast emptiness between the stars, they pulse with a steady, unwavering, rhythmic beat, like a heartbeat echoing through the darkness. Steady and reliable. 28. When a massive star reaches the very end of its life, it can explode in a supernova, one of the most powerful and energetic events in the entire universe. For a brief few weeks, a single dying star can outshine an entire galaxy containing hundreds of billions of stars. And yet, from our safe and cozy distance here on Earth, such an event appears as nothing more than a bright new point of light appearing quietly in the night sky. 29. The iron flowing in your blood and the calcium strengthening your bones were forged deep inside the hearts of ancient stars that lived and died long, long before our Sun was ever born. Every heavy element on Earth, the gold, the silver, the oxygen you breathe, was created in the fiery cores of stars or in the tremendous cataclysm of supernovae. You are quite literally made of stardust. Rest easy tonight, knowing that you are the universe experiencing itself. 30. Stars do not live forever, but the smallest ones live for a wonderfully, almost incomprehensibly long time. A small red dwarf star can burn its fuel so slowly and so efficiently that it will shine steadily for trillions of years. That is hundreds of times longer than the current age of the entire universe. Some of the quietest, most unassuming little stars alive today will still be glowing warmly long after nearly everything else has faded into silence. 31. Now imagine stepping even farther out to a place where entire galaxies drift like luminous islands scattered across an endless ocean of darkness. A galaxy is a vast collection of stars, gas, dust, and mysterious dark matter, all held gently together by gravity. Some are beautiful spirals, some are smooth ellipticals, and some are wonderfully irregular. Each one a unique, swirling metropolis of light, slowly turning through the cosmic night. 32. The Andromeda Galaxy is the nearest large galaxy to our own Milky Way. It lies about 2.5 million light-years away, and on a very clear, very dark night, far from city lights, you can actually see it with just your unaided eyes, a faint, soft, fuzzy patch of light in the constellation Andromeda. What you are seeing with your own eyes is the combined glow of roughly 1 trillion distant stars. Imagine that. 33. Andromeda and the Milky Way are gradually drifting toward each other at about 110 kilometers per second. In roughly 4 to 5 billion years, they will begin to merge into a single, even larger galaxy. But this collision will happen so slowly and so gently over hundreds of millions of years that if anyone were here to watch, the night sky would simply grow more beautiful and more filled with stars, a little more each millennium. 34. There are an estimated 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe. That is a 2 followed by 12 zeros. Each one of those galaxies contains anywhere from millions to trillions of stars. The total number of stars in the observable universe is likely greater than all the grains of sand on all the beaches on Earth. Let that thought settle gently around you, like a soft blanket of cosmic perspective. 35. Nebulae are enormous, ethereal clouds of gas and dust floating through interstellar space, and they are among the most beautiful objects in all the cosmos. Some nebulae are stellar nurseries, places where new stars are slowly, quietly being born from collapsing pockets of gas. Others are the glowing, colorful remains of stars that have died. In every case, they are breathtaking, vast, shimmering veils of color draped gracefully across the darkness. 36. The Pillars of Creation, nestled deep within the Eagle Nebula about 6,500 light-years from Earth, are towering columns of interstellar gas and dust where brand new stars are forming right now. These pillars stretch several light-years tall, each one far larger than our entire solar system. The name says it all. Even in the freezing cold of deep space, creation is happening quietly, patiently, beautifully. 37. The Crab Nebula is the scattered, glowing remains of a star that exploded nearly 1,000 years ago. Chinese astronomers recorded this brilliant supernova in the year 1054, noting with wonder that a dazzling new star appeared in the sky, bright enough to be seen in broad daylight for weeks. What those ancient astronomers witnessed still glows softly today, a delicate filamentary cloud 6,500 light-years from where you are resting right now. 38. Some galaxies are called starburst galaxies because they are forming new stars at an extraordinary, almost frantic rate, sometimes hundreds of times faster than our calm, steady Milky Way. Something dramatic has stirred up their gas, perhaps a glancing collision with another galaxy, and now these galaxies are ablaze with the fierce, brilliant light of countless newborn stars. A celestial nursery working overtime. 39. Elliptical galaxies are the quiet, gentle elders of the galactic family. They tend to be populated by older, cooler, redder stars, and they have very little gas or dust left for making new ones. They glow with a smooth, rounded shape, like softly luminous lanterns floating serenely through the dark. Settled, content, and at peace with their long existence. 40. In the deepest images ever taken by the Hubble Space Telescope, almost every single point of light visible in the frame is not a star, but an entire galaxy, a whole vast collection of billions of stars. Thousands upon thousands of galaxies were revealed in a tiny patch of sky no larger than a grain of sand held at arm's length. The universe is unimaginably, beautifully full of light, even in what appears to be the darkest, emptiest corners. 41. Let's pause and think about distances for a moment, because the numbers in space are wonderfully, almost absurdly enormous. A single light year, the distance that light travels in one full year, is about 9.46 trillion kilometers. That is a number almost too large for the human mind to truly grasp. And yet the universe stretches for billions upon billions of light years in every direction around us. The scale of it all is a kind of lullaby in itself. 42. The nearest star system to our own, Alpha Centauri, is about 4.37 light-years away. If you could somehow drive a car at highway speed toward it without ever stopping, it would take you roughly 48 million years to arrive. The spaces between the stars are oceans of emptiness so vast that they become almost peaceful to contemplate. There is so much quiet room out there. 43. When you look at the Andromeda Galaxy, you are seeing it as it appeared 2.5 million years ago, because that is how long its light has been traveling through space to reach your eyes tonight. In a very real and beautiful sense, looking deep into space is always looking backward through time. Every distant star, every faraway galaxy you see, is a window into the past, showing you the universe as it once was. 44. The most distant light we can detect comes from the cosmic microwave background, a faint, uniform glow left over from when the universe was only about 380,000 years old. That ancient light has been journeying through the expanding cosmos for over 13.4 billion years. It is the oldest light in all of existence, a gentle, fading whisper from the very dawn of everything. 45. The observable universe has a diameter of about 93 billion light-years. That number is staggering, almost beyond comprehension. But here is the truly humbling, wondrous part. The observable universe is almost certainly just a small fraction of the entire universe, which may extend far, far beyond the horizon of what we can ever detect or see. We are nestled warmly within something that may well be infinite. 46. If you shrank the entire 13.8 billion-year history of the universe down to fit into a single calendar year, with the Big Bang occurring at midnight on January 1st, our Sun and Earth would not form until early September. Dinosaurs would appear in late December. And modern humans, we would not show up until the very last few minutes before midnight on December 31st. All of recorded human history would fit into the final second or two. We are a brief, beautiful, precious flicker. 47. Light from the sun takes about 5.5 hours to reach Pluto, out at the far edge of our solar system. But that same sunlight would need more than 4 years to cross the vast gulf to the next nearest star. The gap between our cozy solar system and the rest of the galaxy is a silent, serene ocean of nearly empty space, enormous and peaceful beyond words. 48. The Voyager 1 spacecraft, launched in 1977, is now the farthest human-made object from Earth. It is over 24 billion kilometers away, drifting steadily outward through interstellar space. Aboard it rides a golden record engraved with sounds and images from our world, greetings in 55 languages, music from Bach and Chuck Berry, the sound of wind and rain, and a mother's heartbeat. A tiny, hopeful hello from our little planet, floating through the infinite, starlit dark. 49. Even at its incredible distance, Voyager 1 has barely scratched the surface of our cosmic neighborhood. If the entire Milky Way galaxy were the size of the continental United States, Voyager 1 would have traveled less than the width of a single living room. The sheer, breathtaking scale of our galaxy is something that invites you to simply close your eyes, breathe deeply, and marvel in silence. 50. The universe is approximately 13.8 billion years old. That number is so immensely large, it nearly loses all meaning. But here is a gentle, comforting way to think of it. Every single atom in your body has been on an extraordinary journey through ancient stars, vast nebulae, spinning planets, and drifting cosmic clouds for billions of years before arriving right here, right now, in you tonight. You are a gathering of ancient travelers, finally at rest. 51. Now let's visit some of the other worlds in our own solar system, our nearby planetary neighbors, each one unique and fascinating in its own way. Mercury, the smallest planet and the closest to the Sun, has almost no atmosphere to hold onto warmth. So while its sun-facing side can reach a scorching 430 degrees Celsius, its night side plummets to a frigid minus 180 degrees. A world of stark, dramatic extremes, racing around the Sun in just 88 Earth days. 52. Venus is sometimes called Earth's twin because it is nearly the same size as our planet, but that is where the resemblance gently ends. Its incredibly thick atmosphere of carbon dioxide traps heat with ruthless efficiency, driving surface temperatures to about 465 degrees Celsius, even hotter than Mercury, despite being much farther from the Sun. Beautiful from afar, but a fierce and inhospitable world up close. 53. A day on Venus is actually longer than its entire year. Venus takes roughly 243 Earth days to rotate once on its axis, but only about 225 Earth days to complete one orbit around the Sun. And it rotates in the opposite direction from most other planets, which means if you could stand on its surface, you would see the Sun rise slowly in the west and set in the east. What a wonderfully peculiar little world. 54. Mars is home to the tallest known volcano in the entire solar system, Olympus Mons. This colossal shield volcano rises nearly 22 kilometers above the surrounding plains, making it roughly 2.5 times the height of Mount Everest. Its base is so wide, about 600 kilometers across, that if you stood at its edge, the summit would extend far beyond the curve of the Martian horizon. Imagine standing there, gazing out at that immense, gentle slope stretching away in every direction. 55. Mars has seasons, polar ice caps made of water ice and frozen carbon dioxide, and a day that lasts 24 hours and 37 minutes, remarkably similar to an Earth day. Its thin atmosphere paints the sky with stunning pink and butterscotch-colored sunsets as fine dust particles scatter the fading light in unexpected hues. Even on another world, 45 million kilometers away at its closest approach, a sunset can be something breathtakingly beautiful and deeply calming. 56. Jupiter is the undisputed giant of our solar system. It is so massively large that over 1,300 Earths could fit comfortably inside it. It is made almost entirely of hydrogen and helium, a colossal, swirling ball of gas and liquid with no solid surface to stand on. And yet, despite being the biggest planet by far, it also spins the fastest, completing one full rotation in just under 10 hours. A giant in a hurry. 57. Jupiter's Great Red Spot is a storm so enormous and so persistent that it has been raging continuously for at least several hundred years. The storm is so vast that our entire planet Earth could fit inside it with room to spare. Winds at its edges howl at speeds up to 670 kilometers per hour. Even the storms of the solar system operate on a scale that quietly takes your breath away. 58. Europa, one of Jupiter's many moons, hides a global ocean of salt water beneath a thick shell of ice. Scientists believe this buried ocean may hold 2 to 3 times more water than all of Earth's oceans combined. And wherever we have found liquid water on Earth, in the darkest ocean trenches, in boiling hot springs, beneath Antarctic ice, we have found life. Europa whispers with possibility. 59. Saturn's magnificent rings are one of the most iconic and breathtaking sights in all of astronomy. They are composed of countless billions of chunks of water, ice, and rock, ranging in size from tiny grains, no bigger than sand, to pieces as large as houses or even small mountains. The rings extend hundreds of thousands of kilometers outward from the planet, and yet they are astonishingly thin, in most places, only about 10 meters thick. Imagine that. A cosmic structure of unimaginable breadth, yet as delicate and thin as a sheet of paper in comparison. 60. Titan, Saturn's largest moon, is the only moon anywhere in our solar system with a thick, substantial atmosphere. Its surface holds lakes, rivers, and even seas, but they are not filled with water. They are made of liquid methane and ethane. Rain falls on Titan, slowly and gently, in a hydrocarbon cycle that beautifully mirrors our own familiar water cycle here on Earth. Another world entirely, with its own quiet kind of weather and its own alien rain. 61. Enceladus, another small moon of Saturn, shoots towering plumes of water ice and vapor from long cracks near its south pole. These spectacular geysers rise hundreds of kilometers into space, and some of the ejected material actually drifts outward to feed one of Saturn's faint, wispy outer rings. A tiny moon, barely 500 kilometers across, contributing its own icy particles to the beauty of its giant parent planet. A small world making a big difference. 62. Uranus is one of the most unusual planets in our solar system. It is tilted almost completely on its side, with an axial tilt of about 98 degrees, so it essentially rolls along its orbital path like a ball. This extreme tilt means its poles take turns pointing nearly straight at the sun, giving Uranus the most dramatic seasons of any planet. Each pole enjoys roughly 42 Earth years of continuous sunlight, followed by 42 years of unbroken darkness. 63. Neptune, the most distant planet from the Sun, is a deep, stunning blue world swept by the fastest, sustained winds in the entire solar system, roaring at speeds up to 2,100 kilometers per hour. Despite being so unimaginably far from the Sun's warmth, something deep within Neptune's interior generates enough energy to drive these incredible atmospheric storms. A wild, restless, and hauntingly beautiful world in the quiet outer reaches of our solar neighborhood. 64. Pluto, though no longer classified as a major planet, remains one of the most beloved members of our cosmic family. When the New Horizons spacecraft flew past it in July of 2015, after a journey of nearly 10 years and 5 billion kilometers, it revealed a large, heart-shaped region of smooth nitrogen ice on Pluto's surface. This feature was later named Tombaugh Regio, after Clyde Tombaugh, who discovered Pluto in 1930. Even at the frozen edge of our solar system, there is a heart. 65. Beyond Neptune lies the Kuiper Belt, a vast, donut-shaped ring of icy bodies and dwarf planets extending far out into the frigid outer solar system. And even farther beyond that, there is thought to be the Oort cloud, a gigantic, spherical shell of trillions of icy objects that may stretch nearly 1 or 2 light-years from the Sun, almost halfway to the nearest star. Our solar system is so very much larger and more wondrous than most people ever imagine. 66. Let's come a little closer to home now and spend some time with our own galaxy, the Milky Way. It is a beautiful barred spiral galaxy, stretching roughly 100,000 light-years from one edge to the other. Our Sun sits about 26,000 light-years from the galactic center, tucked comfortably in a region between two of the major spiral arms. A quiet, pleasant neighborhood in a very large city of stars. 67. The Milky Way contains somewhere between 100 billion and 400 billion stars. And around a great many of those stars, planets are orbiting, some small and rocky like Earth, some huge and gaseous like Jupiter, and countless others we have not yet discovered. The sheer number of worlds in our galaxy alone is almost beyond imagining or counting. You could drift peacefully off to sleep just trying to picture them all. 68. On a truly dark night, far away from the glow of city lights, you can see the Milky Way stretching majestically across the entire sky as a soft, luminous band of light. What you are seeing is the combined, blended glow of millions upon millions of distant stars, all part of the same galaxy we call home. This ethereal river of light has inspired wonder, stories, and myths in every human culture on Earth for thousands upon thousands of years. 69. At the very heart of the Milky Way, hidden behind thick, obscuring clouds of interstellar gas and dust, there lies a supermassive black hole known as Sagittarius A star. It has a mass equivalent to about 4 million of our suns. Despite its enormous gravitational power, it sits quietly and calmly at the center of our galaxy, and from our safe distance of 26,000 light-years, it poses absolutely no threat to us at all. A sleeping giant at the core of home. 70. The Milky Way does not drift through the cosmos alone. It is part of a collection of more than 50 galaxies known as the Local Group. The two largest members are the Milky Way and Andromeda, but there are also many smaller companion galaxies scattered throughout, little clusters of stars orbiting the larger galaxies like loyal satellites. A gentle, extended cosmic community held together by the invisible threads of gravity. 71. The Milky Way is slowly, gradually consuming some of its smaller companion galaxies. The Sagittarius dwarf elliptical galaxy, for instance, is currently in the process of being pulled apart by the Milky Way's powerful tidal forces. Its stars are being drawn out into long streams and absorbed into our own galaxy. This process unfolds over hundreds of millions of years. A slow, silent, and almost tender merging, like two rivers quietly flowing together and becoming one. 72. Our entire solar system orbits the center of the Milky Way at a speed of roughly 828,000 kilometers per hour. Even at that tremendous velocity, it takes approximately 225 to 250 million years to complete just one full lap around the galaxy. Our Sun has completed only about 20 of these orbits since it was born. Each complete circuit is sometimes called a galactic year, a measure of time almost too vast to comprehend. 73. The spiral arms of the Milky Way are not rigid, solid structures that stars are permanently attached to. They are density waves, regions where stars, gas, and dust are temporarily compressed and concentrated as they pass through, like a traffic jam on a cosmic highway. Stars drift slowly in and out of the arms over tens of millions of years. Our Sun is currently situated in or near the Orion Arm, also called the Orion Spur. It's a lovely place to be. 74. In the vast spaces between the stars of the Milky Way, there is not simply nothing. There is a thin, gossamer scattering of gas and dust called the interstellar medium. In some places, this material is so extraordinarily sparse that there is only about one single atom per cubic centimeter of space. The entire galaxy is filled with this almost impossibly delicate, faint haze, the raw material from which future stars and planets may one day be born. 75. The oldest known star in the Milky Way is estimated to be roughly 13.2 billion years old, very nearly as old as the universe itself. This ancient star has been burning quietly and patiently since long before our Earth, our Sun, or even most of the other stars in our galaxy existed. A gentle, enduring light that has witnessed almost the entire history of the cosmos, still shining softly after all this unfathomable time. 76. Now let's think together about black holes and gravity, the invisible forces that sculpt and shape the universe in the most profound and fundamental ways. A black hole forms when a very massive star, much larger than our Sun, collapses under the overwhelming pull of its own gravity at the end of its life. The star's matter is crushed and compressed into such an incredibly tiny, dense point that nothing, not even light itself, can escape its gravitational grip. A place where the laws of physics reach their most extreme. 77. Despite their fearsome and dramatic reputation, black holes are not ravenous cosmic vacuum cleaners roaming hungrily through space, devouring everything in their path. They only affect objects that venture very, very close. From a safe distance, a black hole's gravitational pull behaves exactly like that of any other object with the same mass. If our Sun were somehow magically replaced by a black hole of the same mass, all the planets would continue orbiting precisely as they do now. It would simply become very, very dark. 78. The boundary surrounding a black hole, beyond which nothing can ever return, is called the event horizon. It is not a physical wall or surface you could touch. It is simply the invisible point of no return. Light, matter, information, time itself. Once anything crosses the event horizon, it falls inexorably inward and is gone from our universe forever. It is one of the most mysterious and awe-inspiring boundaries in all of nature. 79. Time itself behaves strangely and beautifully near a black hole. According to Einstein's theory of general relativity, the stronger the gravitational field, the more slowly time passes relative to an outside observer. If you could somehow watch a clock falling toward a black hole from a safe, comfortable distance, you would see it ticking slower and slower and slower as it approached the event horizon, until it appeared to freeze entirely. Time, bending and stretching like light itself. 80. The first ever image of a black hole was captured in April of 2019 by the Event Horizon Telescope. Not a single telescope, but a global network of radio telescopes working together as one enormous, planet-sized instrument. The image showed the supermassive black hole at the center of the galaxy Messier 87, 55 million light-years away. A bright, glowing ring of superheated gas surrounding a perfectly dark, circular shadow. A photograph of something from which no light can escape. Isn't that extraordinary? 81. Some black holes rotate at velocities approaching the speed of light, dragging the very fabric of space and time around with them as they spin. This remarkable phenomenon is called frame dragging, and it means that in the vicinity of a rapidly spinning black hole, space itself is being twisted and swirled into motion. Even pure emptiness, even the void, can be set spinning by the power of gravity. 82. When two black holes spiral slowly toward each other and finally merge, the collision creates ripples in the fabric of spacetime called gravitational waves. These waves were first directly detected in September of 2015 by the LIGO observatory. The signal that reached Earth lasted less than a single second, but it beautifully confirmed a prediction Albert Einstein had made 100 years earlier. Even the fabric of the universe itself trembles, ever so gently. 83. Supermassive black holes, millions or billions of times the mass of our Sun, are found at the centers of most large galaxies in the universe. The one lurking at the heart of the galaxy, known as Messier 87, has a mass of approximately 6.5 billion suns. And yet, despite their colossal size and gravitational dominance, these immense objects sit calmly and quietly at the centers of their galaxies, anchoring everything around them like serene, invisible lighthouses in the cosmic dark. 84. Gravity is the weakest of the four fundamental forces of nature, far weaker than electromagnetism, and incomparably weaker than the strong and weak nuclear forces. And yet, paradoxically, gravity is the one force that shapes the largest structures in the entire universe. It holds planets in their orbits, gathers clouds of gas into blazing stars, binds billions of stars into galaxies, and pulls galaxies into enormous clusters and superclusters. The gentlest force governs the grandest scales. There is something deeply beautiful and reassuring about that. 85. According to Einstein's general theory of relativity, gravity is not truly a force pulling objects together across empty space. It is a curvature, a warping, of the fabric of spacetime itself, caused by the presence of mass and energy. Massive objects like stars and planets create gentle dips and curves in this fabric, and other objects simply follow those curves as they move. Right now, you are lying in a gentle, shallow dip in space-time, held softly and warmly against the surface of the Earth. 86. Let's turn our thoughts now to the observable universe as a whole, that immense sphere of light, matter, and energy that we can detect and study from our small, blue planet. The observable universe contains everything whose light has had enough time to reach us since the Big Bang, 13.8 billion years ago. But beyond its visible edge, there is almost certainly much more, perhaps infinitely more universe, that we simply cannot see yet and may never see. 87. The universe has been expanding ever since the moment of the Big Bang, and it continues to expand today. Distant galaxies are moving away from us in every direction, and the farther away a galaxy is, the faster it appears to be receding. This is because space itself is stretching, growing, carrying galaxies along with it like raisins in a slowly, steadily rising loaf of bread. Everything in the universe is gently, inexorably drifting apart. 88. The cosmic microwave background radiation fills every single corner of the observable universe. It is the faint, lingering afterglow of the Big Bang itself, the primordial flash of creation, cooled and stretched over billions of years to a temperature of just 2.7 degrees above absolute zero. If your eyes could perceive microwave light, the entire sky would glow with a soft, warm, nearly uniform light in every direction. A delicate blanket of ancient warmth, left over from the very beginning of everything. 89. About 68% of the total energy content of the universe is made up of something called dark energy, a mysterious, poorly understood force that is causing the expansion of the universe to accelerate over time. Another 27% is dark matter, invisible material we cannot directly see, but can detect through its gravitational influence on visible matter. Ordinary matter, everything you can see, touch, taste, and feel, including every star, planet, and person, makes up only about 5% of the universe. We are the rare, luminous, and infinitely precious part. 90. The large-scale structure of the universe, when viewed from the very largest possible perspective, resembles a vast cosmic web. Enormous filaments of galaxies and intergalactic gas stretch across billions of light years, connecting dense clusters of galaxies at their intersections. Between these filaments lie immense voids, regions of nearly empty space, hundreds of millions of light years across. If you could somehow zoom out far enough, the universe would look like a delicate, shimmering, luminous web of light woven carefully through the dark. 91. The Hubble Space Telescope, launched into Earth orbit in 1990, has given humanity some of the most beautiful and profound images of the cosmos ever captured. Its legendary deep-field observations revealed thousands of galaxies stretching billions of light-years into the distance, each glowing dot in those images representing an entire vast galaxy of billions of stars. Hubble showed us, for the first time, just how wonderfully crowded with light and life the universe truly is. 92. The James Webb Space Telescope, launched on Christmas Day in 2021, can peer even farther and more clearly into the cosmos than Hubble, using its ability to detect infrared light from the very earliest galaxies that formed after the Big Bang. It has already revealed galaxies that existed when the universe was only a few 100 million years old, infant galaxies, faint and small and glowing bravely in the ancient dark, taking their very first steps into existence. 93. The universe may be infinite. We do not know for certain yet, but careful measurements of the cosmic microwave background strongly suggest that space is flat, or very nearly so, which is mathematically consistent with a universe that extends forever in every direction without end. If that is true, then no matter how far you traveled in any direction, there would always be more space, more stars, more galaxies waiting to be discovered. An endless, gentle, ever-unfolding vastness. 94. Scientists have discovered that the universe's expansion rate appears to be slightly different depending on how and where it is measured, a fascinating puzzle known as the Hubble tension. It is a small discrepancy, a subtle disagreement between different methods, but it stubbornly persists. It hints that there may be something deep and fundamental about the universe that we do not yet fully understand. Even our best, most careful scientific knowledge still leaves room for mystery and wonder. 95. The temperature of space itself, far from the warmth of any star, is approximately 2.7 Kelvin, just a tiny handful of degrees above absolute zero, the coldest temperature theoretically possible. This is the temperature of the cosmic microwave background radiation, the residual warmth of the Big Bang, spread impossibly thin across the entire universe. Even in the emptiest, most desolate reaches of space, it is not quite at absolute zero. There is always a little warmth left over, always a faint echo of the beginning. 96. And now, let's gently close our journey with some of the coziest, most enchanting wonders the cosmos has to offer. The aurora borealis, the northern lights, occurs when charged particles streaming from the sun are captured and guided by Earth's magnetic field down toward the polar regions. There, high in the upper atmosphere, these particles collide with oxygen and nitrogen atoms, causing them to glow in shimmering, dancing curtains of vivid green, soft pink, deep purple, and electric blue. A light show powered by our star and choreographed by our planet's invisible magnetic embrace. 97. On any given night, Earth is being gently, silently showered by tiny particles of cosmic dust, remnants of ancient comets and passing asteroids. Approximately 48,000 tons of this extraterrestrial material drifts down through our atmosphere every single year. Most of it is so incredibly fine that you would never notice it. But some of these particles, the slightly larger ones, burn up as shooting stars. Brief, brilliant, beautiful streaks of light flashing silently across the night sky and then vanishing. 98. Every August, Earth passes through the long trail of debris left behind by Comet Swift-Tuttle, creating the beloved Perseid meteor shower. On a clear, warm summer night, far from city lights, you might see anywhere from 50 to 100 shooting stars per hour, each one a tiny fragment of an ancient comet burning up in the atmosphere at speeds of up to 212,000 kilometers per hour. And yet, from your blanket on the ground, they look so peaceful and gentle, just soft, silent lines of light dissolving gracefully into the dark. 99. NASA and other space agencies have recorded the electromagnetic vibrations emitted by planets, moons, and even distant stars, and carefully converted them into sound frequencies that human ears can hear. Saturn's icy rings hum with eerie, haunting, ethereal tones. Jupiter pulses and crackles with deep, rhythmic radio waves. Our own sun drones with a low, steady, almost meditative vibration. The universe may be silent in the traditional sense. Sound cannot travel through the vacuum of space. But if you translate its invisible vibrations into something we can hear, it turns out the cosmos is filled with quiet, otherworldly music. 100. On February 14, 1990, Valentine's Day, the Voyager 1 spacecraft, then 6 billion kilometers from home, turned its camera back one last time toward Earth. The photograph it captured shows our entire planet as a tiny, barely visible, pale blue dot, suspended in a single ray of scattered sunlight. The astronomer Carl Sagan wrote of this image that everyone you have ever loved, everyone you have ever known, every human being who ever lived out their entire lives on that small speck of dust. Tonight, you are resting peacefully on that same precious little dot, wrapped in the warmth of your blankets, under the very same stars that have watched over this world in silence for billions upon billions of years. And that, perhaps, is the coziest fact of all. Outro. And so, here you are, 100 gentle facts, 100 quiet wonders, all wrapped around you like starlight. The universe is vast beyond all imagining, but you do not need to understand it all tonight. Just know that you are part of it, woven from the same ancient atoms as the stars, resting on a small blue world that is itself drifting peacefully through the cosmos. Let your thoughts dissolve now, like starlight fading softly into dawn. There is nothing more you need to do, know where you need to be. The universe will still be here in the morning, patient and full of wonder. For now, just close your eyes, breathe softly, and sleep. Good night and sweet dreams.